everybody, welcome back everybody. It's your main math man, Mr. Shen, coming to you live from Summit Academy. In this video, we're finishing up that lesson 1.3 application, and we're now on the level 3 part. So it says, part 1, rebates and discounts. Jose is trying to purchase a used car that he has been saving up for. When he gets to the dealership, the car salesman tells him that there are two deals they have going on at on that he can choose between. One is a $350 rebate taken off the price of the vehicle, or 3.5% off the listed price. So it says to write two different expressions that represent the total cost of the vehicles with the rebate R of x or the percent discount P of x as a function of the price of the vehicle x. So it has our independent variable as x and our dependent variables as R of x and P of x. So those are going to be our functions that we have for this problem. So a couple different things we can say. We can have and write our function. So we're going to write our function. We do green and pink again. So I'm going to say I have R of x is going to be equal to whatever the sale price is minus the $350. And then we could say for the percent discount, we'll have to write it as a decimal first. So I can say, okay, I have 3.5% is equal to 0.035. And so we do 1 minus 0.035. And we're going to say that we have P of x. We're going to say P of x is going to be equal to, I'm going to say 0.965 times x, where this is the remaining amount that Jose would have to pay. Then it says for number 2, the salesperson asks if he knows which he wants to choose, which car he wants to choose before he's even found a car. Oh, sure. Which situation? Does he want to do the rebate or does he want to do the percent off? Why might Jose have trouble answering this question? What information would help him answer? So we could say something like this. We could say Jose would need to know the listed price of the car because cheaper cars will not give him a large discount using percentage discount because it's taking a percentage of a smaller number. Then it says for number 3, he searches the lot and finally finds a nice modest Toyota Corolla listed at $7,800. Which deal should Jose choose, and what will be his total cost? So we're saying, if he has these two equations, let's find out what. So pull up your Desmos calculator, and when you pull up your Desmos calculator, we're going to say, I'm going to type in our two functions. So I said R of x is going to be equal to x minus 350, and we have P of x equal to 0.965 times x. And those are going to be our two functions. So again, we need to find where those are at. You should be able to find your two different prices. But for right now, we're manually looking at this left side, and so we're saying, okay, let's do this. So let me write it like this. So I have those two functions in there, and I'm going to say, let's do it like this. Let's say your turn. Type in two functions. Start new line. And what we're going to do is, let's say we're going to type in for R of x, we would say R of 7,800 and find out what that is, and then new line, type in, let's say P of 7,800. So all you're doing is, you're comparing those two to be able to figure out what you have. And then what I could say is, let's say after that, let me do one. Let me say after that, we can say, let's say this. We could say, in general, we could say Jose would save, and we could say I need you to fill that in with either more or less in here and that blank, but the rest will be Jose would save more or less, and you have to decide by taking the rebate. By taking the rebate. So that's the last part of that question. So you got to make sure you're careful on that one. All right, let me make sure I'm in the right space. Okay. So just make sure you're seeing, the different parts of that one. Again, make sure you're using your Desmos calculator. Type in these two answers before you move on. All right. Now for part 2, make sure you can pause this video, go to the Schoology page, and watch/complete the Edpuzzle video before moving on to the next section. So it has it linked in there, so make sure you check that out and watch it in there first. All right, so it says part 2, composition of functions. All right, still talking about Jose. It says, again, make sure you first watch that video, Edpuzzle video, on how composition of functions work. So it says, Jose took a personal finance class in school where he learned to negotiate, and he manages. One second. All right, sorry about that. So let's see where we're at. So Jose took a personal finance class in school where he learned how to negotiate, and he manages to talk the salesperson into giving him both deals. When using both discounts, the company calculates them according to the rule R of P of X. So notice how it has a function inside another function. So it's almost like they're replacing the X of R of X with just the P of X. So it says for number 4, what does it say? It says, does this mean that the company applies a percent discount first or the coupon code first? So we're going to say, let's say the car dealership applies percentage first. And the reason why I'm saying this is because if you look inside of the parentheses first, we're noticing that, hey, the P of X comes first, so we would have to calculate what the percentage discount is and then take that amount of the percentage. All right, for the next part, for number 5, it says use the rule to calculate how much Jose will pay for his Toyota Corolla. So let's find out what we have to do here. Well, what we can do is we can still use, let me pull up what we have from before. We can still use our functions that we have from before. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to calculate what we need. So I need to find, and let me actually keep that up. I need to find R of P of 7,800. And that will actually show me, and in Desmos it does it for me. So it's really nice because I don't have to calculate what P of 7,800 is just yet. I can just do it right here and it will come up. So it's saying the final price after both have applied is 7,177. So let me hide this real quick and let me write down what I'm saying. So I found, what did we do? We did green for R and pink for P. Okay, so green for R. So I'm going to say R of, and then I'm going to say P of 7,800. So notice how it's a two functions inside of each other, and so that's going to be equal to r of, oops, sorry, let's say it's going to be equal to, what was our total? $7,177. All right. And then for number 6, it says, how much would Jose pay for the Dodge Charger he also saw on the lot with a sticker price of $11,400? So we would say this, we would say, okay, now we need to find R of, so let's do it again. So we say R of parentheses, and I'm going to say P of 11,400. So I'm going to actually say this one is your turn, because you should be able to find and solve this again using that same strategy. So let's say your turn, use Desmos. Check it out. So pause that video, try this out for yourself, again using that same function. You can type in exactly as it looks and see what comes out. And then on this last one for number 7, it says, how much more or less would Jose pay for each vehicle if the dealership instead used the rule P of R of X? So now notice how it's switching our functions around. And so what it's saying is I would have to find, let's do pink first. So for this one, I would find P of R of 7,800 for the Toyota Corolla. Find that in here, and then we would have to find, let's say, same deal for the Dodge Charger. I'd say P of R of 11,400. So notice how it has, it just has the P and R switched, but it's going to give you different values entirely. So same idea. I want you to pause for your turn and use Desmos. Again, ask for help if you get stuck. I want to make sure you guys are good on this. Alright, so once you get those two answers, what we can say is this. Let me actually type this in real quick. So again, make sure you're calculating in Desmos what your two values should be. So it should be 7,000 something and 10,000 something for your two respective values. But you're going to say after that, you're going to say, all right, Jose would pay $12.25 more for the Toyota Corolla using the rebate discount first, then the percentage discount. And then it says Jose would pay $12.25 less for using the rebate discount first, then the percentage discount. So we're comparing, the values that we found in those previous problems on number 5 and number 6, and make sure you're comparing your answers to what we had previously. So just make sure you're checking with me if you have any questions. Be sure to use that Desmos calculator, and as always, super slam that subscribe button.